Ever feel like AI cameras, I mean, they're either crazy expensive or you have to build the whole thing yourself from scratch?
Right, like there's no middle ground.
Yeah. Like, I want something powerful and flexible, but I don't have time to become a soldering wizard.
Well, you're speaking my language. And get this, that's exactly the problem Seed Studio is tackling with their new, well, it's a whole system really, called ReCamera.
ReCamera, okay.
Hmm.
I am intrigued already. And just so everyone knows, we're digging into this with the official technical specs from their GitHub.
Oh, nice.
But also, we got to see some sneak peeks from Seed Studio's live stream, so...
Best of both worlds.
Exactly. But hold your horses. Let's start simple. What is ReCamera? Imagine you're explaining it, I don't know, at a tech conference. What's your elevator pitch?
Okay, so picture this. A modular AI camera, but not just like, oh, you can switch lenses. I'm talking modular. The processor, the sensor, even how it connects, it's all swappable thanks to their clever B2B connectors.
B2B, so board to board, got it.
Mm-hmm.
But why is that so groundbreaking? I mean, modular is cool and all, but what's the big deal?
It's about the future, man. What you need your camera to do today might be totally different next year, right? With ReCamera, you're not stuck. Upgrade the sensor. Bam, new sensor board. Need some crazy custom wireless setup. Swap out the core board. The flexibility is nuts.
So it's like you're basically building your dream AI camera, but without having to, like, become an electrical engineer overnight.
Nailed it. Seed saw this gap, right, between those basic IP cameras and then building it all yourself. And they were like, nope, got to be a better way. Thus, ReCamera was born, ready to use out of the box, but you can tweak it to your heart's content.
Okay, I'm sold on the concept, but how does it actually work? GitHub mentioned 3 main parts: the core board, the sensor board, and the base board. Break those down for us.
You got it. Those 3 are the key. So first up, the core board. That's where the magic happens. Your processor, RAM, even storage, all live there.
Wait, so you're saying there are different core boards, different processors even? It's not just one size fits all?
Oh, heck no. They've got a couple versions already. One with built-in wireless, super easy to use, and another with all these exposed pins, perfect for those who want to get really custom with their wireless setup.
Smart. So the core board's the brain, then the sensor board's got to be the eyes, right?
You know it. That's where your camera sensor lives. And just like the core board, they've got options.
Yeah, I saw they were highlighting like 3 different sensor boards in the docs. Any standouts for you?
Well, they mentioned the OV5647, which is like a classic, super user-friendly. Then there's the IMX335. That's a raw sensor, tons of flexibility there. And then for those high-speed moments, the SC130GS with its global shutter, that's pretty slick.
Global shutter, so no more blurry race cars or whatever you're filming.
Exactly. And those are just the ones they're showing NOW. The beauty of this modular design is they could add any kind of sensor down the line.
Okay, I'm getting some serious project ideas already. But we can't forget about the baseboard. What's its role in all of this?
Think of it like the ReCamera's connection hub. That's where you've got your USB-C, Ethernet, even power over Ethernet if you want to keep things tidy.
But they didn't just like throw in some random ports and call it a day, did they?
And now they went all out. Different baseboards for different needs.
Right, like need that USB-C in a weird spot? Done. Want PoE for simplicity? Boom, baseboard for that. They even have one with a gyro sensor.
That's the one that screamed custom robots to me, not gonna lie.
Right, it's like Seed Studio is all about that why not both energy. They're not boxing you in, they're giving you a starting point and saying, go wild.
I'm into it.
Me too. And this brings us to the software side of things because, well, hardware is only half the battle, right?
It's like having a Ferrari with no engine. Well, maybe not that extreme.
Okay, bad analogy, but you get the point. And from what I've seen, ReCamera's software is no slouch either.
They've really got all the bases covered there. I mean, they've got this whole custom operating system thing going on. It's a build root system, super streamlined, perfect for devices with limited resources.
Which makes sense because we were talking about those smaller core boards with not a ton of RAM, right?
Yeah.
But isn't that like really bare bones for most users?
You'd think so, but they thought of that too. Check this out. They've got this pre-built web interface. It's actually kind of slick. You can do your network settings, see a live view from the camera, even get a terminal right there in your browser.
Hold on, so no more messing with command lines and stuff. That's kind of genius.
It's surprisingly user-friendly, but don't let that fool you. It's still open source, so if you want to go deep, you totally can.
So I could theoretically rig up like custom controls on that interface for other hardware even, like robotic arms, sensors, that kind of thing.
Theoretically, the sky's the limit. It's like they hand you the keys and say, don't crash it.
I like their style.
Oh, no.
Speaking of pushing limits, you remember that gimbal demo they did on the live stream? A little chaotic, but pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, the one where it was moving all over the place. Node RAD, if I remember right.
Yeah, and then they switched it up, and it was doing person detection with their own AI model.
See, that's what I'm talking about. It wasn't just a look what it can do thing. They were showing how you can blend the hardware, the software, different programming styles. It was wild.
Yeah, exactly. And that's key because they're not saying you have to use it one way. Like your individual programming, Node-RED is right there. But if you're a code wizard, you want to get down with Python or whatever, ReCamera's down for that too.
Accessibility, that's the name of the game. They clearly put a lot of thought into making this work for different skill levels, different kinds of projects. It's impressive.
Totally. And speaking of impressive, we haven't even talked about the image processing power this thing has. Remember they mentioned TIOPS AI performance.
It's tera operations per second, right. Basically how fast it can crunch those AI numbers.
Right. And while they didn't give us a hard number for ReCamera, they did say it can handle those big AI models like MobileNet, even some YOLO, at a smooth 60 frames per second.
Which is huge, especially for something this small and power efficient. That RISC-V architecture is no joke.
So this isn't just like, oh, it can detect a face. We're talking serious computer vision stuff.
Yeah.
The kind of stuff that used to require like a whole server room.
And it can all fit in your hand. And don't even get me started on the connectivity options. We talked about USB-C, Ethernet, PoE, but there's more.
Wait, seriously, what else could they possibly have crammed in there?
Some core board versions come with Wi-Fi and Bluetooth already built in, but for those who want something different.
Let me guess. There's a core board version with exposed pins ready for whatever crazy wireless tech you want to throw at it.
You're getting good at this. LoRa, Zigbee, even those carrier boards for cellular. Knock yourself out.
Okay, customizable doesn't even begin to cover it. That's next level.
Right. They really did think of everything, and that's what gets me excited, you know? That level of attention, that commitment to options and flexibility, that's special.
It's like they took everything we love about open source, that freedom, that anything goes spirit, and made it, dare I say, approachable.
They're making it less scary for people who aren't, hardware hackers. But at the same time, they're giving experienced developers the tools to go nuts. It's a delicate balance.
And that brings us to the community aspect of all this, because let's be real, with open source, the community can make or break a project.
No, 100%. And from what I've seen so far,
Yeah.
ReCamera's community is killing it.
Their Discord is popping off, people is showing off projects, helping each other debug. It's the good stuff.
And here's the best part. Seed Studio gets it. They're not just dropping this tech and piecing out. They're active in the community, answering questions, being helpful. It's great.
It's like a feedback loop, right? The community inspires Seed Studio, and then Seed Studio empowers the community even more.
Everyone wins. And honestly, that's what gives me hope for ReCamera. It's more than just the tech. It's that shared passion, that drive to see what's possible when people work together. It's cool.
Totally agree. I think it's time to give our listeners a quick break to process all this. We've thrown a lot at them, from the technical stuff to the big picture vision.
Yeah, we have. But don't go anywhere. We've still got some more ReCamera goodness coming up in the final part of our deep dive.
All right, we are back. And folks, we have spent the last, a while now, gushing about ReCamera.
And for good reason. It's got some serious potential.
No arguments there.
Right.
But I realized we've been so busy with what it can do that we haven't talked about what it can't do.
The limitations. Right?
Exactly. Because nothing's perfect. So when IS ReCamera is not the right tool, where does it fall short?
Well, to be fair, Seed Studio's been upfront about who this is for. This isn't your plug it in and go webcam. ReCamera's for the tinkerers, the makers, the folks who aren't afraid to get their hands a little dirty.
So not exactly user-friendly for everyone.
Not in the traditional sense. You got to be kind of tech savvy, especially on the software side. Yeah, they've got that web interface, which is great, but the OS itself is still, it's a work in progress.
It's build root, right? So you might have to get those command line fingers ready.
Exactly. It's a trade-off. You get crazy flexibility, but it comes with a bit of a learning curve. It's not just going to hold your hand every step of the way.
So someone who just wants a simple plug-and-play camera, ReCamera's probably not there yet.
Not yet, no. But for those who like to experiment, who embrace that open source spirit, ReCamera's a dream come true.
Limited only by your imagination and all that jazz.
And your soldering skills if you go really deep.
Very true. But honestly, it's nice to see a company be so honest about that. Like,
Yeah.
they're not overselling it. They're saying, here's what it is, warts and all.
Builds trust, for sure. They're saying ReCamera can change how we use AI, how we see computer vision, but they're also saying, hey, it takes work.
And that brings us back to the community, right? Because something like this, it lives or dies by the community around it.
Oh, 100%. And luckily, their community is amazing. I mean, their Discord is the place to be. People are sharing projects, troubleshooting together. It's inspiring.
And the best part is, Seed Studios, right there with them. They're not just abandoning ship. They're answering questions, providing support. It's a two-way street.
It proves they get it, you know? ReCamera's success isn't just about the tech, it's about the people using it, pushing it to its limits.
Totally. And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up our deep dive into the world of ReCamera. We've seen it all, the good, the bad, the modular, the mind-blowing.
We've seen how it's bridging that gap, giving us the power to build the AI camera of our dreams without needing a PhD in electrical engineering.
It's a platform that's all about pushing boundaries, about trying new things, about working together to see what's possible.
So if you're feeling adventurous, check out their GitHub, jump into the community, and see what you can create.
Because the future of ReCamera,
Nah!
it's wide open. And that's pretty exciting if you ask me. Till next time, folks, keep exploring and we'll see you on the next Deep Dive.